Did you know that not all popes were saints? In fact, some of the most powerful men in church history were involved in shocking scandals, corrupt practices, and controversial decisions that still haunt the Vatican today. In this video, we continue our deep dive into the 10 most controversial popes, uncovering their dark stories that have been buried in the shadows of history. These popes were responsible for corruption, betrayal, and power struggles that forever altered the course of the Church. This is the second part of our series. Stay tuned for more shocking revelations in future videos. These stories are based on real historical events, not rumors, and will leave you questioning the true legacy of the papacy. If you're moved by these stories, leave a comment and pray for our church asking for divine guidance. Let's get started. 11. Innocent VIII. Pope Innocent VIII's papacy, which lasted from 1484 to 1492, was marked by one of the darkest periods in church history, the beginning of witch hunts. His papacy saw the issuance of the papal bull Summis Desiderantis Affectibus, which officially allowed the persecution of alleged witches. Under his rule, tens of thousands of women were tortured and executed as part of this brutal campaign. His papacy also suffered from corruption, and his inability to tackle the growing power of the papal families and nobility, ultimately making his reign a symbol of church decay during the late 15th century. 12. Pius XIII. Pope Pius XIII's role during World War II remains a subject of intense debate. Serving from 1939 to 1958, his papacy is overshadowed by accusations of his failure to speak out against the Holocaust. While some defend him for his efforts to aid individual Jews through the Vatican's diplomatic channels, others argue that his silence during the Nazi atrocities allowed the Holocaust to unfold with little resistance. His role in the post-war era, navigating the political landscape of the Cold War, and his neutral stance during major global conflicts, further complicates his legacy. 13. Gregory XIV. Pope Gregory XIV was one of the key figures in the Western Schism, a time when multiple men claimed the papacy, dividing the Catholic Church for nearly 4 decades. His papacy, from 1406 to 1415, was marred by weak leadership and failure to resolve the schism. Gregory XIII's abdication in 1415 under pressure from the Council of Constance was a last-ditch attempt to end the division, but his failure to act decisively earlier in his reign cemented his reputation as one of the more ineffective and controversial papacies of the era. 14. Benedict XIII. Pope Benedict XIII, elected in 1394, was another pope during the Western Schism, leading to the further fragmentation of the Catholic Church. His refusal to step down and recognize the legitimacy of his rival, Gregory XIII, deepened the rift, leading to even more political strife. Benedict XIII's papacy, although marked by efforts to secure his own power, ultimately led to prolonged instability within the Church, leaving a legacy of division and conflict. 15. Clement VIII. Pope Clement VIII, who served from 1592 to 1605, is known for his support of the Counter-Reformation, a period during which the Catholic Church sought to curb the rise of Protestantism. However, his papacy also marked the Church's harsh treatment of religious minorities, particularly Jews. His policies encouraged the forced conversions of Jews and their confinement in ghettos, reflecting his repressive and exclusionary approach. Clement's harsh actions against religious dissenters left a legacy of intolerance and division within Catholic Europe. 16. Alexander VIII. Pope Alexander VIII served a brief papacy from 1689 to 1691, but his tenure is remembered for his involvement in the Jansenist controversy. This movement within the Church sought to reform Catholic teachings but was deemed heretical by the papacy. Alexander's support for certain reformist ideas led to tensions between him and the more conservative elements of the Church. His time as pope was marked by instability, with the papacy struggling to maintain control over European Catholicism amidst growing secular power. 17. Urban VIII. Pope Urban VIII's papacy, from 1623 to 1644, was filled with political intrigue and scandal. He is most infamous for his hostility toward Galileo Galilei, whom he had tried and condemned for supporting the heliocentric theory. Urban VIII's papacy was also marked by lavish spending on art and architecture, including the construction of St. Peter's Baldachin, but his increasing authoritarianism and refusal to accept scientific progress have left him with a controversial legacy. His political maneuvering, including the use of the papacy to secure power and influence across Europe, made him one of the more divisive figures in church history. 18. Pope Paul IV. Pope Paul IV, reigning from 1555 to 1559, is remembered for his harsh and reactionary policies. His papacy was marked by a relentless crackdown on heresy and the creation of the Roman ghetto, where Jews were forced to live in deplorable conditions. Paul IV was also responsible for the Index of Forbidden Books, which sought to censor texts that were seen as contrary to Catholic doctrine. His oppressive policies against religious minorities and heretics earned him a reputation as one of the most authoritarian and controversial popes in history. 19. Sixtus V. Pope Sixtus V's papacy, from 1585 to 1590, was characterized by his efforts to centralize papal power and assert the authority of the Vatican. He is perhaps most infamous for his authoritarian rule, including the reorganization of the Vatican and the use of his papal authority to enforce political control over Rome and beyond. His suppression of dissent, including the execution of those deemed heretics and his harsh policies toward Jews, made his papacy one of repression and intolerance. Sixtus V's desire for absolute control left a legacy of fear and suppression during his reign. 20. Julius II. Pope Julius II, who reigned from 1503 to 1513, is known for his militaristic approach to the papacy, earning him the nickname Warrior Pope. His papacy was marked by his aggressive military campaigns to expand the Papal States and assert papal authority across Italy. Julius II's legacy is also marked by his patronage of the arts, commissioning Michelangelo to paint the Sistine Chapel ceiling. But his use of church resources for personal political gain and his unrelenting military campaigns left a controversial legacy that has made him a figure of both admiration and reproach. These 10 controversial popes were among the most corrupt and scandal-ridden figures in church history, leaving a lasting impact on the Vatican and its legacy. But this isn't the end. We still have more shocking stories to uncover about other popes with even darker secrets. If you were shocked by these revelations, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Which pope did you find the most controversial, and why? And remember, no matter how dark the past may seem, we must always pray for the strength to learn from these events and seek divine guidance for the future. Like this video if you want to see more deep dives into the hidden history of the Church, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss the next episode in this series. We have many more shocking stories to reveal. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next part of this eye-opening journey.